Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I guess you are familiar with the Ukrainian official or estimate, how should I put it, however you want, estimate figure of how many Russian troops were killed in the military operation, special military operation, war, however you want to call it. So I think it's more than 250,000. I think last time it was more than that, 270 some thousand. So 270,000. Now the Russians, they did a research, the Russian media, which is BBC and others, and they must be trusted, and they came with a much lower figure, about 10 times lower than that. And they will break it to who died, where, and how they got the information. Very interesting article, I would say, if true. So let's go to this article from Ukrainska Pravda, Friday the 28th of September 2023. Russian media: over 33,000 Russian soldiers killed in war with Ukraine. You see, they don't say anything here like alleged, or contrary, not true, nothing like that. Very interesting. You know why? Because the sources are accredited sources, you see, peer-reviewed sources. Journalists from the Russian services of the BBC and Media Zona have discovered that since the beginning of the full-scale invasion of the war in Ukraine, at least 33,236 Russian soldiers have died, of which, interesting number, 3,836 have been mobilized. So when I say at least, that is the minimum, and at most would be 50 million. They don't say. Anyway, 3,836 mobilized. So the rest are what? Mercenaries, people from the republics over there, the new republics, how should I call them, Donbas region, and how do you call it, Crimea, and Luhansk, Donetsk, probably from those areas. And the regular military, not mobilized. The mobilized, remember, they mobilized what, about 300,000 last year in October, November. Now, the source: investigation by the BBC via Radio Liberty. Now, this is very strange article and very strange number. And you see, the Ukrainians did not dispute that. I would expect them to say, well, that's a lie, but they would not, because it's BBC. So then what? Someone is lying. I mean, obviously they all lie, but some lie more and some lie a little bit, here and there. So if it's only 33,000, is not 270,000. So what happened with the rest? How come the Ukrainians screwed up the numbers so badly? Anyway, let's go back here and see what else they have. The study carried out by the Russian media is based on obituaries in the media, reports on social networks from relatives of the victims and local authorities, etc. So, etc. More than that. Since the start of the Ukrainian counteroffensive in July 2023, at least 2,448 Russian soldiers have been killed, including 234 officers, of which there were 2 generals and 11 colonels. If you remember, the Ukrainians claim that they killed about 20 generals and, 3,000, I'm exaggerating, colonels or something. Like 150, I don't think Russia has this many, but they have. But anyway, interesting. The investigators note that the last time senior officials of the Russian army suffered such significant losses was in the first month of the invasion of Ukraine. At the same time, every third person who died while repelling the counterattack of the armed forces of Ukraine was mobilized. One in third. Every third person. So 681 out of 2,448 established dead. In total, since February 2022, 3,863 mobilized soldiers have died in the war in Ukraine. 1 in 5 of them survived at the front for less than 2 months, and 60% died in the time frame from 1 January 2023. More information. The greatest losses are among the Russian convicts recruited for the war in Ukraine. Journalists were able to establish the names of 6,215 convicts who died at the front as of 29th of September 2023. Over 100 of them were citizens of the foreign countries, most often Uzbekistan, Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan. The journalists note that as of 29th of September, the highest number of dead soldiers was recorded in the Russian regions of Krasnodar Krai, reaching 1,259. Elite units of the Russian army are also involved in repelling the counterattacks of Ukrainian forces. Airborne forces, Marines and Special Forces, but now, in contrast, they are used for short operations and are short operations. Jesus Christ, and are deployed on the most important sectors of the front, trying to protect the personnel. They claimed, if you remember, the Brits claimed that more than 90% of the Spetsnaz and others special forces were decimated. Where? But anyway, too many questions. It says here that during the Ukrainian counteroffensive, they keep saying with the counteroffensive, Russian paratroopers lost at least 209 soldiers. The special forces of the Ministry of Defense suffered casualties totaling 23 people, while the Marine Corps reportedly lost 60 people. Such an article you would not have. Obviously, there's nothing like this before. How do you think they did not have the information? This is as of the 29th. So how come only like this? How come only now they came with this? I told you about 2 months ago. 2 months and a half ago, these guys received a little go ahead, and they start publishing, as I said, little by little, another narrative. This is one of those. Interesting. They are dropped from the lap. Something is not. Now here we have a little bit something that I can't read, and it is what it is. If you read, you read. I can't. I can pretend. Zapasnožnje, kapritni, foršnje. I'm just saying. Anyway, separately, using the same method, the journalist examined data on the dead servicemen from the self-proclaimed Luhansk and Donetsk People's Republics. I told you, after examining the published obituaries and reports of the search for the so-called nationals from Luhansk and Donetsk People's Republics who have not been in touch for a long time, the journalists came to the conclusion that by the end of September, up to 20,000 soldiers of the self-proclaimed republics of Donbass could have been killed in action. So how come those Ukrainians fought for the Russians? How come they collaborated? Oh, they were forced? Okay. Yeah. So let me see if these guys on 21st of September was the last time the Russian Defense Ministry revealed the total number of losses suffered during the war, reporting 5,937 deaths, probably from the military. After that, the military department reported the number of dead 3 more times, confirming the loss of another 162 people. I don't see, you know what I don't see here? And it's very telling. I go down here. I don't see any other number that would contradict the 33,000. That tells me that the order was given. Even these guys are, yes sir. Because this guy would have said, well, that's not true, because the Ukrainian intelligence was able to discover that about 273 whatever. Let me go and find an article where the Ukrainians are going to tell us how many Russians were killed lately. Let me just find that out. All right, I got the lowest hanging fruit here, and I just clicked and I found from Newsweek. It says this is from 19th of July. So 19th of July, and here it is, right here. Kiev. Right here. Kiev claims in updated figures that Moscow has lost nearly 340,000 soldiers since February 24. And that was what, 3 months ago? I told you about 270 some thousand, they said. And I didn't see the new article right here challenging the 33 at all. They didn't say, well, that's not accurate because, our intelligence services found out that this. Okay, that tells me that the order was given even to the Ukrainians. Hey, cut the crap, publish that, don't say anything. It was not like that, obviously. But no opposition, no debate, no challenge. Interesting. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.